One of Joe Biden's most recent cabinet picks is taking heat from both Republicans and the far left tonight. So let's dissect Biden's cabinet picks so far with our political panel. Ethan Behrman is the co-chair of the Hometown Values PAC, and Olivia Perez-Cubas is communications director of Winning for Women. Welcome to you both. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, so let's start with talking about Neera Tanden, who is being floated as the director of Office of Management and Budget. Here's something. She's been on a tweet deleting spree, as a lot of people are once they are tapped for something in public life. Here's something that Byron York tweeted back in February of 2018. He said, House Intel memo key point. The FBI's Andrew McCabe confirmed to the committee that no FISA warrant would have been sought from the FISA court without the Steele dossier information. Story posting soon. She replied to it and said this: even if this is true, hasn't the dossier been mostly proven to be true? It's amazing how comfortable the likes of Byron York are happy to run interference for Russians intervening in our elections. All right, Olivia, there's a lot there. But let's start with the fact that I think right, left, center, there are a lot of people who think the dossier has not been mostly proven, not even close. What are these tweets going to do for her when she sits there for confirmation in the Senate?
Yeah, I think she's an extremely controversial pick, obviously, as you just laid out. She is incredibly partisan, surrounded by a bunch of controversy. To your point, in 2016, she helped push this Russian conspiracy theory. Most recently, she's gone after Republican senators on Twitter, one of whom is, and as you mentioned, most of those tweets have since been deleted, but one of those senators being Susan Collins, of all people, who is one of the most bipartisan senators, one of the most independent voters in the Senate. And I think ultimately this is a really good reminder of how important those Georgia Senate runoff elections are, because at the end of the day, the quickest and easiest way that people like this are going to get confirmed is if Senate Democrats retake the majority. And you've got Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue down in Georgia who are in the fights of their life, who are very much this last line of defense between Americans and the radical policies that we're seeing coming from the left. And I think at the end of the day that ultimately Americans across this country agree that Democrat control of the House, of the Senate, and the White House is too much. And it starts and ends with appointees like this one.
Well, we know that she's taken a lot of heat. A lot of folks out there saying, good luck with this confirmation battle. It's not going to be a lot of fun for you. A lot of people predicting she won't make it through. And Ethan, there's even the headline out there saying, is she sort of a sacrificial lamb that, you know, the Biden team is saying, here, progressives, this is somebody that you've been wanting, even though they know she probably is going to have a really difficult time getting through.
Here's the deal. Joe Biden is put forth the most diverse cabinet nominees so far in the history of this country, the majority of which are, of course, going to be somewhat partisan. Why is that? Because the Democrats won the Oval Office, just like the previous president picked exclusively partisans to be his cabinet picks. At least in this case, it's diverse and it's people who understand the working class in this country and not just the elite class. Unlike the majority of the previous president's picks. Furthermore, if the Republicans want to block, why wouldn't this president also just go with, the interim appointees like the past president? This whole thing about the partisanship, that's the nature of when a president picks their cabinet. They're there to serve the president. They're not there to serve the Senate. The Senate gives consent, but they're not there to serve the Senate. So as long as Neera Tanden does her job and understands numbers, she's fit to be director of the OMB.
Well, it's interesting because a number of President Trump's nominees have had to squeak by party line votes, a number of them with Vice President Pence coming in to cast the tie-breaking vote to get some of these people across the finish line. So, I mean, Olivia, we would expect that there is going to be some partisanship when it comes to these votes on some of these nominees for a potential Biden cabinet.
Of course, and that's the nature of politics, but this takes me back to my earlier point about why the Senate majority is so important and why Georgia, the races there are so important, because at the end of the day, it will be up to the Senate if appointees and nominees like her ultimately get confirmed, and a Republican majority depends on it.
So today, my buddy Dana Perino over on the 5 said something to the effect that, yeah, you can get a lot of attention in the press by saying we're doing the first this or first that, or we have all these women. But she said, as conservative women, you know you're not going to end up on magazine covers. You're not going to get the glowing profile, so you have to get your blank done. Quick final comment from you, Ethan.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting. There is a point there with Dana, what that Dana made, but here ultimately is the point, and that is that cabinet picks are there to serve the president. If they haven't done anything tremendously wrong, if they have paid their taxes, if they don't have an illegally employed household member, for example, they're there to serve the president. They should be approved by the Senate. And that's the way it should go for all presidents.
Okay, I'm gonna take your clip, Ethan, and I'm gonna show it to the Democrats in the Senate and remind them of the numerous nominees that they did not give that potential standard for vetting. But we'll see how this all plays out. Olivia, as you said, it all comes down to those Georgia Senate seats. Ethan, Olivia, great to have you both.
Thank you.